So we've been playing around with auto speed loaders and we've been playing around with miniguns. Today is a bit of a story, and I'm going to introduce you to the 2 UZI problem, which you'll probably have seen in the thumbnail and in the title of this video. The 2 UZI problem. Let's get down to what this video is about. These are Northeast Airsoft UZIs, or MP2A1s. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the real steel history or anything like that, because there's people out there that will do it better than I. I'm here just to talk about the airsoft aspect. For all intents and purposes, these are 2 V3 UZIs. These belong to somebody I know, Flo, who we did the weekender with. So these are her guns. We've been talking because she really wants to get my MP5K PDW, the VFC one. And I sort of hinted at maybe wanting a UZI down the line somewhere. So the top gun is the one that she predominantly uses. This is the one that she wants to keep. This has got an aluminium bolt, and as far as I'm aware, she has an absolute blast with this. We did shoot both of these as we were at the weekend event. This one has a steel bolt. So these don't really have any recoil anyway, but you should be able to see there's a bit of a noise difference there. So we had a bit of a play with them at the weekend game. We kind of talked about a trade, and then what she did is she just gave me both guns. She gave me all the accessories that she's got. She gave me a bunch of mags, which are these, at the time, these CO2 mags. And basically said, go away, have a play. There was an issue with the aluminium bolt one where it had lost the E-clip off the spring guide. So she asked if I could sort that, which I have done. So I got the spare E-clip, that's been fixed. And from them being, used at the weekender to getting them home, they hadn't been touched. I hadn't touched them for weeks and weeks and weeks, which, I had to keep saying, look, I'm just too busy, I haven't looked at them yet. Until yesterday, when I decided, right, I'm going to take a look at these things. I fixed this one. Let me just get rid of the cap, bear with me. So I fixed the aluminium bolt one, and I was like, right, I'm going to have a play. I'm going to see if I like this thing, see if I want to do this trade. Filled up a magazine with CO2. Popped it in the newer one, which is this one with the steel bolt. And these aren't gassed up, by the way, but I rocked the mag, the buttons selected on the CO2 mag so it can dry fire, and nothing worked. And I was like, that's strange. Maybe something just isn't sat right. Tried it again on auto. Nothing's happening whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because this is the newer of the 2. It's bog standard, where this one is modified slightly. So I took the same mag, I popped it in the one with the aluminium bolt, and you have to imagine it here, because I'm going to get round to shooting it in just a moment. Don't panic. This one shot absolutely fine. And I was scratching my head and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I went backwards and forwards with Flo. We took loads of pictures. We couldn't understand. This one actually has a modified valve knocker, so she can use her AirTac HPA adapter. This one is pretty much bog standard. And we delved into it, and we just could not figure out what was going on with this thing. It was working. They were working when we left the weekend event. It's very typical in Airsoft, isn't it? It was working when you left it. You pull it out of a gun bag, and no longer works. So we checked all the parts. We had everything apart. I pulled all the bolts. These come apart really easy, by the way. Pulled all the bolts out, the assembly. Just checking over absolutely everything, making sure the valve knocker resets, and just was getting absolutely nowhere. And then while I was messing about with it, because we were both stumped, she was giving me a bit of advice which she picked up from the Heavy Recoil Discord, and just trying to really, trying to find the error. And then what I did, because she was adamant that this one is new, it's untouched. So what I did is I took it apart and I put the gun in like that. Now, what you might be able to see there is the valve knocker is sitting it can press the valve on this one because the magazine isn't gassed. But basically that's sitting above the valve, and if the magazine's gassed, which I'll do for you now, so take a look at this. So the way that you gas these up, you just push something in at the bottom here, that frees the magazine. And then we have to take the CO2 cartridge out, so we'll take a big flat head, because I've probably got one of them more than a Allen key of the size. So, yeah, that's really tight, can't get that. Let's get that loose first. Right, found an Allen key. So, pop some CO2 in here, like that. And we can replicate this, because she did say no one had, you know, experienced this issue, so I thought it'd be interesting to get it on video, so if anyone has the same issue, you know what to do. So, mag in. I swear, if this has fixed itself. Basically, what happened was, as this was moving forward, the valve knocker was going over the top of that. Now, it might just be the magazine that I was using, the valve is slightly further out than the rest of them. So I was like, yeah, something's not right here. So going along with the story, so after taking it apart a bunch of times and pulling the whole thing apart, because these things come apart really easily, we determined that this metal piece here had actually bent. So if I push that forward, you'll see that the back piece here has got a slight bend to it. Now, if I was to take, see it there, if I was to take this one apart, that part's completely flat. And also, this one, you'll see there's a gap in between that part. Difficult to see on camera, I know. Where the other one, it sits flat. So at some point, somehow, this new gun has bent this piece here. Now, it could have been done many ways. But, I said what I'll do is I'll shoot a little video explaining what the problem was, and then try and fix it on camera. So if anyone has the same issue, we know how to fix it, don't we? So getting into it, this is what's led us here. Need to get this thing working to then determine whether I want to hang on to the MP5K or whether I want to delve into ownership of an UZI. So I'm going to take this assembly out here. Little spring. You've got the little valve knocker, and you can see there more drastically the bend. So I'm not sure what's happened. They do have a lot of steel parts in these UZIs, but this part is definitely like a cast. I don't think it's steel. No, it's like a cast monkey metal part. Monkey metal Chinesium, whatever you want to call it. So we need to try and straighten this out and hopefully not break it in the process. So it's not made of ridiculously strong material, so I'm hoping we can just apply a little force and bend this part back into shape, which I'm guessing isn't going to be an easy task. It could be a case of running this with the steel bolt and running it on CO2 is what's caused this. We can't seem to find anyone that's had the same issue, but that part is actually quite strong, so I'm not actually too sure, but you can see there's a slight bend in the piece. So I've got a flat edge. I always put tools and I'm like, that'll come in useful. Let me put that on the bench and then it disappears. So I haven't got a flat edge. Let's get this 3D printed part here so you can see. So that's flat, and you can see it gets stuck there. So we're on a bend. So trying to put so much force on that to bend it back, there is a high risk of shearing that part off because it's not made of steel. So this might be a case of this needs to be a replacement part from Northeast, which if it is, then that's what it needs to be, and we need to get it repaired, don't we? So Need to put this back together now. So, long story short is, should we take a punt at this? Obviously, it's going to have to be repaired before we sort of entertain any kind of trade. You'll also see that this pin is ever so slightly bent. If you want to check if a pin's bent or straight, try and roll it on a bench. And if it doesn't roll very well, like you'll see this rolls nice and easy. This pin stops, so there is a slight kink in it. Can see it with the eye, might not be super clear on camera. Yeah, there's a slight bend to it, not much though. So all you Northeast UZI, MP2A1s, whatever you want to call it, fans, users out there, or Northeast Airsoft themselves, if you manage to watch this video, let me know if you've experienced anything like this. Now, many of you are probably screaming out, going, shoot the UZI, shoot the UZI. So here we have the one with the aluminium bolt. We've got an empty mag with CO2 to show you what this thing shoots like. So there's pretty much next to zero kick on this thing. Does run really nice on the CO2 though. Runs a lot better on the CO2 than what I've seen them running on green gas. And yeah, we can pop this top cover off if we take the mag out real quick. And we can show you what it runs like on the steel bolt. So it's just a case of pulling the assembly out, taking the steel bolt, sliding that one in. I did manage to jam one of my fingers with this steel bolt in one of these UZIs yesterday. So it definitely adds to the weight, you can tell straight away. And here it is with the steel bolt. A lot more reciprocating mass, you're going to feel it. Obviously the magazine's going to be low because we just dumped a load on full auto. So it's a lot more fun on the steel bolt, but you are going to burn through your gas and have a slower rate of fire, which I don't think the real UZIs had a fast rate of fire. Great, it is nice how easy these things come apart. And I know many of you want to, are probably screaming at the camera right now, wanting to know the ins and outs, all the finer details on this stuff, like what I do when I normally look at stuff on the bench. And we will get to that, but first we've got to fix this problem. And then once we've got it fixed, if the trade goes through, we can look at doing it. So the trade offer is, you know, the UZI with a steel bolt, the modernisation kit, which there's a lot more to it. That all comes with it as well for my MP5K, which has all modern bits on. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think we should do. Should we go UZI or should we keep the MP5K? You know, on the fence right now. The first experience of the Northeast with this being a fairly new gun isn't super positive. But, you know, if it's fixed and this isn't a usual thing, perhaps we can remake that part out of, you know, some nice stainless 316 or 304, something like that. And offer it out to you guys if you've had the same experience. If not, then it's just a case of getting one of these from Northeast. I hear they're pretty good with customer service and getting out replacement parts. So I'll leave it there. I just thought I'd share this problem with you. A little bit of a mystery. I've had to go down the path of, you know, taking out each possible point of failure to eventually find that this is the culprit. So thanks for tuning in this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. There's many more things to come, as well as a you know, a gas magazine maintenance guide video, which you guys keep asking me since I did that reaction video. So I'll be getting to that. Check out the links in the description. Always appreciated. And as always, from me and a very UZI'd up bench right now, we'll see you in the next one.